I've got the recipe for you. This dip is just amazing. It just melts in your mouth. Ooh. Bon appetit. Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera show. You know, it's that time of year for the big game and everybody's getting excited. And actually, I've been doing a lot of big game out in the backyard with the grandchildren. I've got cuts on my hand and a boo-boo on my nose, but I'm so excited to share with you some recipes that I think will be great for when you have friends over to watch the game. We're going to start with the Reuben dip. You know, it's reminiscent of that famous sandwich. It's just delicious. Then we're going to do a toasted ravioli with a pizza sauce dipping sauce that is phenomenal. And then what about potato soup? If you're going to stay through dinner, that's the perfect choice when you've got appetizers to go with it as well. And then whoopie pies for dessert that look like footballs. It is so fun. It'd be great to get the kids in the kitchen with you to make those. So we have got a fantastic giveaway today as well. So I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get started on this Reuben dip. Ingredients are just fabulous right here. You're going to start with Philadelphia brand cream cheese. When I'm doing a dip, I really like to go with the name brand because you can really taste the difference. So I've softened it just a little bit in my bowl. I'm just going to work with it for just a minute just to get it ready to go. And then isn't it nice when you have all of your ingredients already measured out and ready? It just makes making dishes so much more entertaining just for yourself. All right, so the next ingredient is Hellmann's mayonnaise, and you know I use that in almost every recipe that I do when I use mayonnaise. All right, add that in. And then the next ingredient is Russian dressing. Now, does that take you back? Because I know as a child, I would eat salad only if it had Russian dressing. But this is actually homemade. So I've shared this recipe with you on our website at VeryVera.com, along with all of the other recipes from today's show. So even if you're not going to make this dip, you might want to try that recipe for salad dressing. All right, the next ingredient is just a little bit of milk, just to get it spreadable on crackers. The next thing we're going to add, I'm going to go ahead and mix this just a little bit before I start with the other ingredients. And you know, the Russian dressing really gives it a good color. I like that quite a bit. And when this bakes, you're not going to have to worry about any chunks of the cream cheese. It's all going to smooth out. All right, so this is Boar's Head. Again, brand important. Boar's Head corned beef. It's just the right flavor. It's not greasy. You're not going to be looking at a lot of fat on the top of this dip when it comes out of the oven. Next ingredient is sauerkraut. And you know, I didn't eat that as a child. Love it on this sandwich. Love it in this dip. Okay, then we've got Worcestershire sauce, smoked paprika. We're going to add in some freshly grated Swiss cheese. And then this is where personal preference matters with your Tabasco sauce. Just a little dab of that. I've greased an oven-proof casserole dish to go with this. And I'm just going to pop this in. It's going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 25 minutes. So I'm going to get that in the dish. When we come back from the break, I'm going to get started on that toasted ravioli. You're going to love that dish too. So I'll see you in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining us, we are making Super Bowl food. Love this idea, and certainly this time of year, everybody's looking forward to watching the big game. So we've got that Reuben dip in the oven. It just smells amazing. It's going to be so good. Now let's get started on the toasted ravioli. And this is a really simple dish too. You can either pick up fresh ravioli from the deli, or I happen to just pick it up in the frozen food section of the store. You want to get a quart of water, just just bubbling, boiling on the stove. Add that in and then let it cook for 5 minutes. Drain it in a colander, rinse it off so that it's separated and won't stick together when you get ready to make this dish. All right, so the ingredients to go with this, all very simple. We're going to start with 2 eggs and a little bit of milk. I'm just going to mix that together. So that's the wash. And on this recipe, it's very much like anything else that you fry, where you dip into the wet, then the dry, and then put it on your pan. All right, so the seasonings that go in the actual coating for the ravioli are wonderful. This is just panko breadcrumbs, and I'm using a deep dish pie plate. I really love to have that much room to work with when I'm rolling things in dry mixture. The next ingredient is freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Then we've got some Italian breadcrumbs, and then a little bit of kosher salt, some garlic powder, and again, smoked paprika. That's a great flavor when you're doing something that's just going to pull everything else together and just gives you just a little bit of that smoky flavor. All right, so this is where, in fact, this entire recipe, you could get your young person in the kitchen with you to do it. This is something that the husbands can do too. If the wives are all out of town during football, then maybe you could get in the kitchen and make this dish when the guys are coming over. All right, so we're gonna start. It gets a little messy, so I've actually got a wet towel right behind me so I can wipe my fingers off as I go. So you're gonna dip, and then I like to kind of coat on top like that, and then that keeps most everything else kind of dry as you go along. So again, this is a recipe that you could make ahead. You could just leave it out on the counter, and then right before you're ready to serve it, you could pop it into the oven. And this is going to make a good mini, and it freezes well too. Even after you've done this step, you could put it back in your freezer on the sheet pan, just like it is here. Let them get good and frozen. And then move on. Okay, so obviously these are going to bake up beautifully, but the wow part of any recipe is the presentation. So I've got a really great idea for how to make this look amazing. So Burton & Burton has an amazing dish that would be absolutely perfect to display this on for the football game. This is a stadium platter that has a dish that you can put your sauce in. So for ours, we have actually made a pizza sauce, and again, our recipes are available on our website at VeryVera.com. We made this from scratch. It is fantastic. So these are toasted and ready to go, and for us, Burton & Burton is just a great company. If you want to know where you can purchase this, you're going to go to their website at burtonandburton.com, put in your zip code, and it's going to tell you where you can purchase this in your area. But for us here in Augusta, it was kudos to you, and we love that store. So we just went in and picked this up, and actually this is going to be part of our giveaway today. So in Vera's Corner today, we're going to go over health resolutions, and then when we come back, we're going to get started on potato soup. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Isn't this amazing?
Vera's Corner is sponsored by TaxSlayer. It's your refund. Go get it.
It's that time of year when people are making resolutions to be fit in the new year. I made my resolution to be fit at 50, and here are some of my tried and true tips on how to get that done. Get rid of tempting food in the house. If you have to plan for your weak moments, if it's around and you want to indulge, you most likely will. Make meal prepping a priority. If you reach your lunch break or the end of the workday and have prepped meals available, you're less likely to go out to eat, which saves on calories and dollars. Choose a day of the week to make your plan. Do the grocery shopping and cook. You may choose to do all of these on the same day or break up tasks to make it more manageable. Find an exercise activity you look forward to. Running isn't for everyone. Try riding a bike, Zumba, or even skipping rope. There are many different options for incorporating movement into your schedule, and you never know what could become your new favorite. Share your goal with those you love, whether it's your immediate family or your social media followers. Sharing your goals with others is a good way to stay accountable when it gets hard. Finally, accept that this is a new lifestyle, not a short-term sprint to good health. Best of luck with your good health goals. Okay, I hope you enjoyed Vera's Corner. You know, these exercise tips and just getting some willpower and getting started with being healthy in 2020 is really a great goal. So we've got wonderful things that we're making today that get you ready to watch the big game coming up. And one of my favorite recipes out of the VeryVera cookbook is the potato soup. We served this in our cafe. People loved it. It's perfect comfort food. It's very easy to make. So we're going to start with a little bit of butter in my Dutch oven and make a roux. So I've got it melted. I'm going to add the flour. And you know, basically what you're looking for here is just to get that flour incorporated into the butter. You want to get a nice little golden tint to it, and it just needs to cook slowly for a few minutes. So while that is cooking, I'm going to move on down to all the other things that are going to go into this recipe. All right, so I used frozen hash browns for this, and you can buy these in the section of the frozen foods where you've got the French fries and all of that. I baked them, got them nice and soft, and then I just took my potato masher just to kind of break them up, but you still want some nice little chunks of the potato there. All right, so I've got more butter going. Here I've talked about health resolutions, and I'm making everything with butter, but it's all in moderation. All right, so I've got a little bit of butter in my pan. I'm going to add to that some onions. And here again, this is going to cook for about an hour once you get all the ingredients added in for the soup. So I just want to get these kind of translucent, but they will continue to cook. There. So while those are cooking for just a minute, I'm going to add my chicken base to my milk. And this is actually half and half. And chicken base already has all of your salt in it. So when you get to the part of the recipe where you want to add your salt, remember that you had salt in the chicken base. And before you just start adding it, taste it first. All right, so that's ready. And you know, I'm cooking today on my Sub-Zero induction cooktop. I've got 3 pots going here, but just look how clean and neat it is. It's just amazing. All right, so to the onions, I'm going to add white pepper. And that might be an ingredient you might not have in your cabinet, and I highly recommend that you purchase it if you don't. Garlic powder, garlic salt, and fresh parsley. All right, so let's just stir that about a bit. Oh man, I mean, you know, just the seasonings in this are all the things that you would put, you know, possibly on a baked potato, which really makes it good. All right, so now I'm going to turn this roux up just a little bit because I'm ready to start adding all of the other things, the liquid ingredient. So now I'm going to take this half and half. And I want to start slowly with it, just so it will thicken just right. And just stir about. And you know, potato soup, when you're looking for something in the wintertime that is just an easy, quick supper, that and maybe half of a ham sandwich or a salad would be amazing. All right, so some of that chicken base is in the bottom. Just make sure you get all of that out. Don't put that back into the sink with the good ingredient in the pan. All right, so we've got that in. All right, now we're going to add the heavy cream. And again, all in moderation. So a small cup of this is just perfect. All right, now I'm going to add in all the yummy onions and parsley and garlic. Oh, that is just amazing. Okay, and then the potatoes. Don't want that to slosh. Okay, so I'm gonna let that cook a minute, but I'm gonna move down here because again, the wow factor. I've already got some made. Aren't these just the cutest cups to serve in for your party? We're gonna ladle a little bit of that up into the cup. And then people can stand and hold these because the heat won't necessarily go all the way through. A little cheese, a little bacon, and some fresh parsley, and you're good to go. All right, come back with me after the break. We're gonna get started on whoopie pies. Okay, the fun part is the dessert always, and these whoopie pies are amazing. So I've gone ahead and creamed my butter and sugar for 3 minutes, and it's light and fluffy and ready to go. And then I mixed up with the wire whisk all of my dry ingredients. I've got flour, I've got cocoa, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. So these are gonna fluff up really big, and I'm gonna add this in to my butter and sugar mixture by alternating the cream, the milk, and the dry ingredients alternating. And I've got my pan ready with some parchment paper over here, and my oven preheated to 350. So this is just a really different dessert. You're gonna love the way it looks. And this batter is just really easy to mix up. I love to use a dry measuring cup as a scoop when I'm mixing dry into my mixer. That way things don't go splattering everywhere. So this is just a quick bite size, and again, to me, the presentation is so much a big factor in entertaining and making your guests feel like, you know, you really went to some trouble to get your meal prepared. Now that there's not much left, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of it in. Okay, just turn that up just a little bit to get that mixed. Now the next key thing is one of these little small ice cream scoops, because that's what we're going to use to get an even distribution of the dough. All right, so that's ready. I'm just going to flip that a little bit forward, and I'm going to go in and grab a heaping amount. So you're just going to put that on the pan, and I'll get about 3 done, and then show you how to make them look like a football. And you know what? Bacon is my favorite part. So now I'm just going to take a knife, and I'm just going to get those ends pointed just a little bit. See, it's starting to take on the shape of a football. So at this point, you know, I'll fill my whole pan up and get those in the oven, but then the most fun part is the icing. So the icing is very simple. It's just butter, cream cheese, powdered sugar, and vanilla. And you're gonna mix it up, get it really nice and smooth. And then once these are baked, and if they come out and they're not the perfect shape, I actually picked up these little football cookie cutters, and if I needed to shape them a little bit, I could do that once they were cooled. But you're going to spread a little bit of the icing on the one of the footballs, then top it with another, and then take a piping bag, put just a tip in the bottom with a little circle, push that icing down into the piping bag. Just take your hands and get it as far down as you can get it. Turn over the top of the piping bag, and then just make those strings on that football. Just do a straight line, 6 little strings going across, and you've got the perfect little dessert for a football party. So the wow factor in anything that you do for a party is the presentation. And what about this? I absolutely love it. So to today's giveaway is going to include most everything that you see here. We're going to give you the cloth that just will be tremendous on a dining room table or on a table outside on your deck. Is just adorable. We've got this wonderful stadium display that you can put your whoopie pies on. The Reuben dip there in the center is almost like the halftime part. It's just that great Reuben dip with the Ritz crackers. We've got the Burton and Burton platter with the football there for all of that. It looks amazing, and that is part of the giveaway. Then Marcus Spears, who you might remember was on our show with us at the end of last season, has autographed an NFL football, and you know, he's actually a great cook himself, so that's going to be quite a showpiece. So this is what we want you to do. We want you to go to all of our social media channels. We want you to review the instructions for the giveaway there. We want you to register for this giveaway because it's going to be amazing. And most importantly, we want you to make these dishes because you're going to need to do those New Year's resolutions that I talked about in Vera's Corner after you eat all this. So as I always say on the Very Vera Show, no matter what you do it in good taste. I hope you'll come back next week. My special guest is Brian Hart Hoffman. See you then.